After the class, we will talk. Okay, madam, you please start. Madam, you please start. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, now start, please. Start, please.
Okay, sir.
You
Okay, so
start.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, Mr. Farooq and Mr. Akhtar Zaman. Good to see you here again, Mr. Farooq. Okay, so this is our intermediate level, and Mr. Farooq was here in our last class. Mr. Akhtar Zaman is new here, so let's take a review. Let's see what we, not a review, sorry, a recap of our last class that we did. Okay, Mr. Akhtar Zaman left, no problem. I'm sharing the screen. Please do let me know, Mr. Farooq, if you can see the screen properly or not.
Yes.
Okay, can you see the
Yes, I
screen
can
now?
see.
Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. Moving on, so in our last class, we practiced or we worked on our reading and speaking skills. So we saw or read an article about the Angulo brothers. We got to know about their story, about their how their life was and how it is now, and also that a movie is being made or it has been made on them because they are considered to be the weirdest brothers due to their life and their history. So we got to read about them, we read their stories, we saw them, we saw the pictures that were given, and we did some activities based on the passage that we read. So that in that way we improved our reading skills because we read the passage and then we also discussed some questions based on the passage that also improved our speaking skills. So that was what was done in our last class. So the next page also has their story, the full story, the backstory about them, how their parents met and how they were forced to stay at home, and then how one of them escaped and started living a normal life, and then how they met the producer or director of the movie that has been made on them, and it's called The Wolf Pack. So that is what we did in our last class. For today, we have a new lesson that will be based on our improving or developing our listening and speaking skill. So we will work on our listening skill and speaking skill as well. So last class we worked on our reading and speaking skill. Today we will be working on our listening and speaking skills. So today, because it's listening skills, we will be doing activities based on listening the audios that are given about some people, and then we will be answering some questions. We will be discussing the answers. So from the very beginning, let's start. This lesson, the complete lesson, will be based on our closest relative. So we all have relatives in our family, right? Some are very close, some are not so close. So everyone's bonding with all of the relatives in our family are not same, right? So we have some relatives that are very close to us. We get very attached to them. We can share everything that we want with them. Even they share their thoughts and their feelings with us, right? But not with everyone. So they are our closest relatives. So we all know what relatives are, right? The family members, extended family members, they are called they're said to be our relatives. Okay, so let's start with a discussion that will be based on our families and what we think of some statements that are given here. So we have been given some statements here, 5 statements to be specific, in our first activity. So I'm zooming it in so that it's easier for you to see. So here we have 5 statements given that we have to discuss, and these statements are based on our family. So you have to actually discuss whether you think that these statements are true for your family or not, because every family differs from each other. All family has have the same type of beliefs and bondings. That is why it varies from one family to the other, right? Give me a moment, please. So yes, all families do not. Can you hear me? Can
Yes,
you
Huma.
hear me?
Yes, Huma, we can hear you. Please go on.
Okay, so thank you. So as I was saying, all families do not have the same beliefs, right? Or we all don't think the same. So it differs from family to family how we are bonding with one of our relatives, or how the relationship between a mother or a son is, or between a father and daughter is, or between siblings. The relationships, it differs family to family, right? That is why we would like to discuss these statements based on your family. Okay, not in general, but based on your family. First of all, there are five statements given. Number one is mothers feel closer to their sons. Second statement is fathers feel closer to their daughters. Third one, the firstborn child is ambitious, responsible, dominant, and insecure. Fourth one, the second child is free, independent, creative, and easygoing. And the last one is the last born child is the baby, spoiled, happy, confident, and secure. So these are the five statements that are given as a general statement. Okay. So from here, you have to give your point of view that what you believe is actually true or not true according to your family. So you are a father, so you will give your opinion about whether you are close, whether fathers are closer to their daughters or not. And then you are a son, so you will be giving your opinion on whether mothers are closer to their sons or not. Mr. Azimullah, could you please mute your mic? Mr. Azimullah, could you please mute your mic? Okay. Good to see you, Mr. Sajidul. Okay, so you did not um, miss much. We just had a recap. No problem. We just had a recap of our last class. And I just completed saying that we will be working on our listening and speaking skill for today. And at the very beginning of our lesson, we will have a discussion based on some statements that are given here, these five statements. And we will be having the discussion on these statements, and you will be giving us the opinion based on your family. So, what you think about these statements based on your family values and your family bondings and everything. Okay. So the first statement is mothers feel closer to their sons. Do you think this, Mr. Azimullah, could you? Yes, okay, your mic is muted now. Thank you. So could you tell us whether you think this statement is true or not, Mr. Farooq? Mothers feel closer to their sons. Do you think it is true?
Is my mother?
Yes.
Is my
Do you think in
about
general,
my mother?
in general, do you think that mothers feel closer to their sons rather than to their daughters?
True. Mother feel closer to their sons. Most of the uh,
Most of the mothers do. Okay.
it's
That
true.
is what you think.
Fathers feel
Okay.
closer to their daughters.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
yes,
agree with
is it
that.
true?
Okay. Okay. And what
First,
about Mr. Sajidul?
Yeah, this is absolutely right, and almost it's a universal truth as well.
Okay. So you think that mothers feel closer to their sons rather than to their daughters, right? That is
Yeah,
what you think as well.
yeah.
Okay. What
But
about Mr.
but
Akhtar? Yes.
though there is exceptions in case of my kids. Okay,
Okay.
he is much more closer with his uncle and father as well.
Okay. So your son is more closer to his uncle rather
Uncle,
than
yes,
you.
yeah.
Okay. So that's a different case. That's good to hear. Okay, what about Mr. Akhtar Zaman? What do you think? Do you think mothers feel closer to their sons? Mr. Akhtar Zaman? Okay, I think. Do you think that mothers feel closer to their
You can hear
sons?
me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Akhtar Zaman.
It's natural. It's natural.
Okay, so
Mother
you agree with
closer
it.
to sons and father closer to daughter. It's natural.
Okay, okay, so you also agree on this. What about Mr. Azimullah? Mr. Azimullah, can you hear us? Are you there? Okay, he's gone. No problem. So, okay, so you all agree on this statement that mothers feel closer to their sons and fathers feel closer to their daughters. Okay. What about the third statement? That is, the firstborn child is ambitious, responsible, dominant, and insecure. Do you agree with these? So ambitious is a person, let me explain it first so that it's easier for you to give your opinion. Ambitious is a person who looks forward or is steadfast, is actually very confident about his future goals or what he's about to do in his future, and he's very very driven towards it, hardworking towards reaching that goal. And he's responsible. You all know who a responsible person is, who can take up all the responsibilities. That person is responsible. Dominant person is the one who actually can lead you or can actually give you
It's true.
instruction. Yes, okay. And an insecure person is someone who has some insecurities in himself, or he questions his own personality sometimes, or he questions his own opinion sometimes. That person is insecure. So, do you think a firstborn child is like that? What about Mr. Akhtar Zaman? What do you think? You agree with it? Okay, he's gone again. Mr. Farooq, what about you? Do you agree with it?
The firstborn child is
Ambitious,
ambitious, responsible,
dominant, and
dominant,
insecure?
and insecure. Uh, I think the firstborn child is ambitious, responsible, not dominant and insecure.
Very good. That's a good opinion. I sort of agree with you as well. What about you, Mr. Shajidul? What do you think?
Yes, right. All these issues are not related to firstborn child at always. It's vary
Right, it
because
varies definitely.
uh, some childs, whether he could be first child or second child or third child, actually responsibility matters if he or she belongs it.
Takes it up.
Okay,
Very good. Right.
yeah. But
Right.
in most cases, they can be ambitious. And in my family, the same conditions match with in most cases because our elder brothers is not meet all these conditions. Okay, he is responsible but not dominant and insecure.
Right.
But
Right.
in my case, I'm one of the youngest son of my family. Okay,
Okay.
but I think ambitious, responsible, and insecure. All these conditions meet with me, but
Okay.
dominant personality
Not,
is, yeah,
it's not,
is
it
not
doesn't go
aligned.
with you.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. That's good. These are good characteristics actually. To be ambitious, to be responsible. Being responsible is a very big thing.
yeah,
And being dominant is not always taken positively, but then again, if you can actually be dominant in a good way with good intentions, then it is a good thing. And being insecure sometimes bothers with our own mental health
yeah.
actually. So that is also bad for
But
ourselves.
in most
Yes.
cases, dominant usually uses in negative way. Most
Exactly,
cases.
exactly, exactly. In most cases, it is taken negatively. Right, you're very right. So okay, so that was a good discussion about firstborn child. I think Mr. Farooq is a firstborn. Are you? Sir,
Second child.
are you Mr. Farooq, are you a firstborn child? Are you the eldest among your siblings?
My third child is
No,
daughter.
no. I'm talking about you. Are you the eldest among your siblings?
I'm
Are you the firstborn child?
I'm middleman.
You're the middle child. Okay. So and Mr. Sajidul is in the younger side, in the near to the
Yeah,
last born.
yeah.
Okay. And what about Mr. Akhtar Zaman? Are you the first child, the middle child, or
I,
are you
I, I am the first child of my
okay? So
family.
okay, that's great. What
But
do
I
you
have
think about yes, yes, but I have
I I do not bear in my life ambitious. I mean, I have no ambitions in my life. I fond of what I like, I do. Still now, though I have a family, I have two sons.
okay. So that is
Responsibility,
something. Yes,
I am not. Now I am responsible, but when I was uh,
younger.
I was bearing in my family with my parents, then I did not show my any responsibility towards my family.
That is
Dominant,
very
it's true.
normal.
Maximum dominant. Every first child uh, try to show their dominant attitude towards the family.
Behavior.
It's though it's it has a negative meaning here, but here dominant means his opinion. He try to set
Give
up
a
the
strong opinion,
family or
right?
impose the family or others members. Sometimes if his opinion didn't get
Accepted to all
Isn't
others, then
strong.
didn't
he
accept
can
the
be showing
family,
his
accept the family,
dominant.
or
Right.
if refuse his dominant attitude, he feel uh, here we can say insecure, or he despair to despair if he refuse. Insecure naturally,
Right.
the first child did not feel any insecurity in the family.
Right.
Dominant and insecurity may be closely related to her,
Okay, okay,
I
that was
think.
a good explanation. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Akhtar Zaman. Yes, I agree with the point that firstborn child. Okay, so I am talking about my opinion, okay, because I am also a firstborn. Yes, sir.
I also want to tell, I would
Yes,
like to
yes.
tell you, ambitious, it's bear a, son or daughters. First child born, either son or daughters. It's
That doesn't matter.
at present
Anyone.
situation.
Yes.
Yeah, anyone. At present situation in our country or in our social
Right.
environment,
Yes.
uh, what we can see in our society or in our family, ambitious it's bears ultimately in a child. It may be a firstborn child or second-born child or third-born or last one.
All of them are
Ambitions
ambitious.
comes from
All of
ambitions
them.
comes from a child, from the family or social awareness, or
Right.
missing his
His surroundings
classmates
that he's growing
or
up in. Right.
friend circle or surrounding. It's grow ultimately his or her mind.
Is adapting, yes, them being
Sometimes,
ambitious. You're exactly
parents are
right.
motivated. Sometimes parents
Right.
are motivated their sons or daughters to
Exactly. Be ambitious and to reach their goals. You're exactly
be
right. You're
ambitious,
talking,
or
yes.
try to show their sons to take high dream.
Right, to dream big. And exactly, that is what our society is doing now. Everyone is trying to teach their children to be ambitious in a good way, actually.
Everyone.
It is a good thing. Right, right. Okay, moving on to our second child. So the second child is free, independent, creative, and easygoing. So do you agree with these? Mr. Farooq, what about you? Do you agree that second child is free?
I am also second side.
Okay, so you agree with
Uh,
this, that you are
uh,
free?
I,
Free
in
as in
my
not like
viewpoint,
not
in my
working,
viewpoint,
bound. Yes.
second side is free, independent, creative,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
also responsible.
Right. Actually,
In
the
my
part
opinion,
of being responsible and being ambitious, this actually comes from family values. First of all, being responsible comes from family values, and the person who takes the values very seriously and actually thinks about his family first, that person has to be responsible. That is what I believe. That is what I believe, actually. It's everyone's opinion. So that is what I believe. And about being ambitious, nowadays, especially, every parent encourages each of his or her child to be ambitious and to reach a goal that they're aiming for, and they motivate them as well. These also differ because of the options that we have around us. Before, everyone did not have the capability of even having a mobile phone or a computer, or even they weren't able to have higher educations, for which parents were not able to you know to motivate their children to be ambitious, to do something. But now, because it's not easy for everyone, but for most of us, it is easier to achieve what we want. That is why parents are also motivated to encourage their children to reach their goals. And in that way, the children are also ambitious, be it firstborn, secondborn, or even lastborn. That is what I believe as well. Do you agree with it?
ma'am, what's the
Yes.
meaning here? Easygoing. Easygoing
Easygoing
is
means
meaning
who takes
available.
No, not available. Easygoing means a person who takes everything very easily. He doesn't get tensed any much. If he doesn't get tensed about it much, or he doesn't worry about it, he's like, okay, this happened. Okay, it doesn't matter. It will become okay. Something like that. Takes
Yes,
everything very easily.
Not
Yes,
complex minded.
exactly,
he has
exactly.
no opinion.
Yes, he has no
He
specific
has no
opinion.
opinion.
Right. He doesn't have any specific
Opinion.
opinion to be problematic.
Plus,
That person is easygoing. Okay. So Mr. Farooq agreed that second child is free, independent, and creative. What
creative.
about and yes, creative. And what about Mr. Shajidul? What do you think?
Last three sentences almost near to closure, but actually it's not always true in all cases. That
Right.
means firstborn, second child, and lastborn. It actually depends on
Very.
their cultural values, family values, surroundings, and family solvency as well. Okay.
Definitely.
Sometimes,
Definitely.
sometimes firstborn child become very ambitious, but due to some conditions, sometimes he or she has to maintain
Back
the
off.
family. Yes, sometimes he or she maintain family responsibility and other issues. In same way, second child also sometimes, ideally, if the younger son or elder son or elder daughter
Siblings.
sometimes very responsible, then second one sometimes fill his or her life very easily. Okay, in that case, he or she might be independent or creative, sometimes very easygoing as well.
Right. You are correct in this case as well, right? Because it actually depends on the family, the values, and the solvency as well. Because Whatever conditions the children are seeing in their family, that is how they will adapt to their characteristics as well. You are correct, right? And what about the last born child? Last born is the baby, spoiled, happy, confident, and secure. What about that, Mr. Akhtar Zaman? What do you think about this? Mr. Akhtar Zaman, your mic is muted if you're talking. We cannot hear you. What do you think about the last statement? That is about the last born
Here,
child.
here spoil means নষ্ট নাকি?
Yeah, not noshto.
Hello.
Spoiled means when you are listening to a child, whatever he or she is wanting, you are agreeing to it, and at some point you cannot say no to them. That is when they're spoiled.
Okay, okay. Generally, a large born child in a family, they are very happy and they take much love and affectionate to their parents. It's true.
Right, right,
Sometimes they may be confident and feel secure always. But I want to say that ambitious, responsible, dominant, and insecure, free, independent, creative, easygoing, spoiled, happy, confident, and secure. All the words are describe a human being's characteristics.
right.
So we can say these words are adjective.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Yes. Uh, if
Okay,
we
so
think, if we
yes,
think, as a firstborn child, always try to be free and independent. Creative, it comes from family
within.
values.
It comes from
Family values.
within. We cannot characterize it actually.
It's come from family values or social values. Where they grow up, where a child grow up, they pick up some things from this
Their surroundings.
society,
Yes,
surroundings or environments or his classmates or friends or family members or relatives. If he want to show his creativeness, he can show it. But
creativity.
those
Yes,
in or in his or her in mind.
right. Exactly. Right. So each characteristics actually it's not fixed that a firstborn has to be ambitious, responsible, dominant, and insecure. It can be a second child's characteristic as well, or the second child's
Mm.
characteristics that is free, independent, creative, and easygoing. That could be the characteristics of lastborn as well. Of course,
Yeah.
that is how it actually happens. We cannot point out or we cannot just give facts like that firstborn are like this, secondborn are like this, lastborn are like this. It's not like that. But this was just a discussion based on your each of your family. So each families have different people, right? We like in my family, I see that firstborns are responsible. That is very common. They are ambitious, but sometimes they cannot reach their ambition due to benefiting their younger ones. Maybe they see that maybe it's better that the younger ones go ahead rather than me. I'll help them build their future. So it depends. And the second child is free, independent. It's not necessary that way. A lot of time, it's the second child or the middle child who's emotional, who's more emotional. That's actually scientifically, it is a fact that most of the time we see that who are in the middle, the siblings who are in the middle, they are usually the most emotional ones and who are actually emotionally attached to everyone. That is more often seen. And in general, as a fact, it is also seen that the last born or the youngest one is always the one who is most pampered, right? So that these are just general facts and these were just general statements. We just had to discuss it and we just warmed up for our today's lesson that is on our my closest relatives. So this whole lesson is based on relatives and whom we are closest to, whom we can share our thoughts and our feelings with and who are very dear to us among all the other relatives that we have in our family. So that was our first activity. This discussion improved our speaking skills. It warmed us up. It gave us a boost to move ahead and do the other lessons that we're about to do. Okay, so because this today's lesson is also based on development of our listening skill, the next activity, the second one, is based on an audio that you will be listening to very carefully, because we have questions that we have to answer according to the audio that we will hear. Okay, so this activity says that you will listen to four people talking about who they feel closest to in their family. To complete the chart with the relationship and then tick and cross. So what you have to do is we will be listening to four people. They will talk. The four people are Tess, Simon, Ellie, and Nick. So these four people will be talking, and we will be listening to them, and they will be talking about the person with whom they are closest to, who they feel closest to. So we will first have to figure out who the person or the relative is with who they are the closest. That is, for example, the first one is given. Tess is, I feel closest to my sister. So Tess is the closest to her sister. And then we have to see the questions or the options that are given in the chart. That is these, and we have to answer accordingly. So first one is I feel closest to. The Tess's one is given my sister. He or she likes me. So you have to understand through the audio that you will be listening whether the person Tess is talking about likes her or not. So he or she likes me, so we can understand that Tess's sister does not like her. That is why there is a cross. If she did like her, there would have been a tick mark. Okay? The same way, he or she is different. We have common interests. She or he gets on well with people, means they are very social. They go along very well. They can talk to people very nicely. That is what this means. He or she gets along well, gets on well with people. Is the relationship always good? So, is the relationship between the closest person and the person who's talking always good or not? Is it consistent, or do you have fights and sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad? According to that, you have to give a tick or a cross. Okay. So, let me make you aware that because these points are given like this, it's not necessary that the audio will have the sentences in the exact same way. It's not that, okay? So in the audios, these four people will be talking randomly about their closest relative. So you have to figure out from that audio whether he or she likes that person, whether he or she is different or not, whether they have common interests or not, whether the person they're talking about gets on well with people or not, and also whether their relationship is always good or not. So you have to figure these out and then answer. Okay. So I will be playing the audio. It is a bit long because four people will be talking. So you have to be very attentive when you're listening so that you don't miss out the details. What I will do is I will play the audio with the script on for the first time so that you can see the script and you can understand what they're talking in the first play. Okay. So I'll play it for once and you have to be very attentive while listening. So I'll play it now. Pay attention to it.
1.9. 1.9. My closest relative. Tess.
I think the person that I'm probably closest to is my sister, Charlotte, or Charlie, as everyone calls her. We're very different. She drives me crazy sometimes, and we have terrible rows, but I know we'll always be there for each other in the end. One thing I love about her is her sunny personality. She's so sociable, not shy like me. She's always cheerful and full of fun. Oh, people love her. They always want to be her friend. Me, I'm just her boring baby sister. But perhaps what I like best about her is the way she's so honest about herself. She says her big problem is that she can't sit still. She says she'd like to be like me and be happy just sitting reading or watching a film, just relaxing, really. I'm good at that.
Simon,
In my family, I think I'm closest to my granddad. My dad, I don't really get on with. We don't really see eye to eye about anything, but fortunately he's away on business most of the time. I think he'd like me better if I was good at sports, football or rugby or something. Any sport, but I'm not. What I like about Grandad is that we have the same interests. We both love wildlife, nature, plants and animals and things. We often go walking together in the countryside, and sometimes, in my school holidays, we go camping. I love that, even in the rain. I think, emotionally, I'm closer to him than I am to both my parents. You see, my mum also has a high-powered job, and she travels a lot. I'm an only child, so I think I'd be lonely without my granddad. I love him. My friends love him too. He's always so interested in what they're doing. He's young at heart, my granddad.
Ellie,
The person I'm closest to in my family is definitely my mum. Everyone loves my mum. She's the kind of person you can talk to about anything. She's very understanding, especially now I have a baby of my own. She's a great help with the baby, George, but doesn't throw too much advice at me, if you know what I mean. At the moment, we spend a lot of time together because I'm not back at work. We go for walks with the baby. We go shopping together. We like the same kind of clothes. She's pretty cool, my mum. Not old-fashioned at all. We have our ups and downs, of course. A few years ago, I had a tattoo, a butterfly, done on my shoulder, and she didn't like that at all. She still goes on about it, but most of the time, we get on very well indeed.
Nick,
I'm closest to my twin brother, Chris. We're not identical twins, but we have a lot of things in common. We follow the same football team, Arsenal. We like the same sort of music, especially house music. And we mainly have the same friends. But I suppose there are more differences than similarities. But I'm into all things history and politics, and Chris loves adventure and travel. Also, our personalities are very different. Well, I'm like my mum, calm and easygoing. Chris, he's like my dad. He can be moody and bad-tempered. With those two, Dad and Chris, often fight like cat and dog. I'm the referee. It's not a role I like. Chris has just gone travelling in Southeast Asia. He's in South Korea at the moment, in Seoul. I miss him a lot. I think as twins, we're closer than most brothers and sisters. We're different. But I trust him like I trust no one else, even my mum.
Okay, so that was the audio based on 4 people, Tess, Simon, Ellie, and Nick. So did all of you listen to it very attentively? I hope you all did. Because
Yeah,
now
try
we
my
will
level best.
Okay, great. So because now we will be moving on to answering these questions I would ask you. So, yeah.
One thing is that actually the voices, the accent, if I didn't read it, uh, then it would be quite difficult
It's difficult,
based
yes.
on their sounds.
Right. I understand because it is very normal because their accents are a bit different. They talk in their own speed because it is their native language, and we speak a bit slower than them in a slower pace because it's not our first language. That is why, for the first time when you're listening to the audio, I always either I open the script, or if the audio, or if the script or the writings of the audio is in the activity, I tell you to read or follow that, right? Because it's not here, the writings of the audio. That is why I open the script. But it is for once, because if I open it all the time, you will get dependent on it and
Yeah.
it will not develop your skill. So
Yeah,
now
sure.
that I've showed the script and you heard it, I hope it is clear. Let's start answering the questions. Mr. Farooq and Mr. Akhtar Zaman, I hope you are ready.
Yeah.
So let's see. The first one is on test. So the first two questions or options that are given here, the first two rows that are given here to be specific, are already filled for us. The first one is I feel closest to, and Tess feels closest to who? My sister. That is her sister. He or she likes me. So there's a cross. That means he, the sister, doesn't like Tess. That is what we found out. Now the second one is, the third one is she is
He
different.
or she is different.
Yes. Is she
True.
different or is she not? It's true. What about Mr. Shajidul and Mr. Akhtar Zaman? What do you think? Is she different than
Yeah,
Tess?
true.
Okay.
She is different.
Okay, she's different. Okay, both of you, Mr. Farooq and Mr. Shajidul, could you please also mark in your books or in your copies, because it will be easier for you when you will practice it later with your PDFs that you have, okay? So it's please note it down if you have a copy in front of you. If not, take anything in front of you and just note it down so that it's easier for
Yeah,
you to practice.
I got some copies, especially two books, but not sure whether this books is sent me or not.
Oh
Okay.
no, it is supposed to be sent because whenever you get admitted, that is when you get the books as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Right?
I will check
Okay.
again.
Okay. 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 So that's a tick mark, which means that she is different. We gave a tick. We'll check it in the end. Next is we have common interests. So do those both sisters have common interests? Do they like the same
Yeah,
thing or do
in
they
some
don't?
cases.
In some cases they do. Are you sure? What do you think, Mr. Farooq and Mr. Akhtar Zaman?
Yes, we have
They
common
have,
interests.
okay, you think that they have common interests. What about you, Mr. Akhtar Zaman? What do you think?
It's Simon Ili or Tess.
No, we're talking about Tess. Tess.
Uh,
Tess and her
I,
sister.
I can't recognize.
Okay, you can't recognize. No problem. So Mr. Farooq and Mr. Shajidul said they have common interests. Okay, let's give it a tick. Lastly, we'll check and then we'll understand. Okay, he or she gets on well with people. Does she get on well with people?
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, Mr. Akhtar said she does. What about Mr. Farooq and Mr. Shajidul? Does she get on well with people? Means is it easier for her to mix with people and talk to them?
Yeah, she is very social.
Right. She is very social. And what about Mr. Farooq? What do you think?
Yes,
Yes. Okay, so that's a tick. Because Tess said that her sister is very easygoing with people, unlike her, who is shy. Tess is shy, but Tess's sister isn't shy. So she does get along with people. And what about their relationship? Is the relationship always good?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What about Mr. Farooq?
no,
No. Okay. What about you, Mr. Akhtar Zaman? Tiebreaker?
sometimes good. Sometimes good, all the time.
Sometimes good or sometimes
always
Bad, I think.
always always bad? Okay. So I'll
Oh,
give
always not
yes,
good.
yes. Okay,
Always
always
not good.
not good. Okay, I got 2 votes of always not good. So the relationship is not always good. So let's check what answers you have. So they do not have common interest because they said that they often argue about some things among each other. So that is why they do not have common interest. So this will be a wrong. Okay, next, moving on to Simon. Now tell me, who is Simon closest to? Mr. Shazidul?
Simon's mother, Sofar.
Mother? And what about Mr. Farooq? What do you think? Yes? Mr. Farooq, who is Simon closest to?
I mean, this.
Simon was the second person who spoke, and he spoke about the.
I have forgotten.
Okay, you have forgotten. No problem. What about Mr. Akhtar Zaman?
Granddad.
Right. Very good. Simon is closest to his granddad. You're correct. Okay. And then does does his granddad like Simon?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Akhtar said yes. What about the two of you, Mr. Farooq and Mr. Shazidul?
Second questions, right?
Yes, second one.
Yes.
He likes him. And what about Mr. Farooq? Does Simon's granddad like him? Can't remember? Okay, no problem. Yes, his granddad loves him, and he's more closer to his granddad than his parents. That is how strong their bond is. Okay, next question. Is he different, or is he like all of his other family members, or is he
No,
like Simon?
here she is indifferent.
He's indifferent. Okay, good. What about Mr. Shajidul?
Yes, independent. Right.
Good. What about Mr. Akhtar Zaman?
He's not. His granddad, as his granddad loves him, he also likes him. So there is no different. They are very
Right.
close,
Very good.
and they are very
Right.
close.
Right. So he is not different. That is
In
why it's
absence,
a cross. Right.
he,
So we have
yeah,
common interests. Do they have common interests? Do they
yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing? Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
We
Mr.
have
Akhtar
common
Zaman said
interest.
they have common interests. What about Mr. Shajidul?
Yes, we have common interest.
Good, Mr. Farooq. And Mr. Shajidul, what do you think?
Not remember at all, but so far as their likings and dislikings are similar, so it should be their common interest so far.
Right. They do have common interests. They love wildlife. I think they also like traveling as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, next is, does he get on well with people?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Shadidul said yes. What about you, Mr. Farooq and Mr.
Yes,
Akhtar Zaman? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. Why? Can you give me the reason why? What is the statement or the sentence that Simon said
Yeah. Yes,
through
yes,
which we can understand that
yes.
his granddad does get on well with people? Do you
Is-
remember?
the relation is always good them in them
Between them. Between them,
with
okay. We'll go to that a bit
within
later.
them.
I am asking you, what is the statement did Simon say that made you think that his granddad is always good with other people? Do you remember? Okay, let
Yeah,
me remind you. That was that his friends, Simon's friends, also love his granddad because he's very friendly with them as well. So that shows that he gets on well with people. So that is
with
a
them.
tick mark. Last one,
Yeah.
is the relationship always good?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Mr.
Mm.
Farooq?
yes,
Yes, very good. Yes, their relationship is always good, and they have a very strong bond, stronger than his bond with his parents, with Simon's parents, his mother and father. So he's very close to his granddad. Excellent work, all of you. Now, moving on to Ellie.
Ma'am,
So,
how
yes,
can we practice listening this
sir,
book?
all the audios are also given with your book. The files that the audio files, that has also been sent with the book. You just check all the files that have been given to you. The PDF of the book, the audio files, everything has been given. So here, see, the audio file's name is 1.9. Same way, you have been given the audio that will be titled 1.9.
Uh, can I ask the questions?
Yes, sir.
Uh, Still now, I did not do not
Get
admit.
admitted, yes. All your I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Akhtar. So any admission related query will be cleared at the end of the class. Okay, so because our sir is also here, he
Okay.
clears all the queries at the end of the class, and he will do that as well for you as well.
Okay.
Don't
Thank you.
worry, that will be cleared. Okay, moving on to Ellie. For Ellie, who do you think is the closest person, or is the closest relative?
Twins brothers.
Twin brother, Elise. Okay, what about Mr. Shajidul? What is your answer for
No,
this?
no, 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 no.
Twin
Okay,
brother
Mom.
okay.
is related to Nick,
Right, very good. And what about Ellie?
Ellie's mother.
Mom. Mom.
Very
Mom.
good. And Mr. Farooq, do you think both of them are correct? Mr. Shajidul and Mr. Akhtaruzzman?
I
Not
can.
sure. Okay. Yes, Ellie is the closest to her mom. That is her mother. Right. So is she, the mom, like Ellie? Sorry,
Yeah.
does she like Ellie?
Yes.
Yes, right. So a mother never hates her child, always loves her child, right? So of course she likes her. Next is she different? Is Ellie's mom different than Ellie?
No.
No,
Yes, yes. Her
no.
mother is different.
Her mother is different. Okay, what about Mr. Shajidul? What do you think? Her mother is different?
Not sure.
Not sure. What about Mr. Farooq?
Her mother is different.
Her mother is different?
Yes.
Okay, but her mother is not different. Her mother is just like her. She is not different at all. Next is we have common interests. So do they have common interests?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Why do you think so, Mr. Shajidul? Can you tell us?
Just because of their likings and dislikings are mostly same.
Okay, their likings and dislikings are mostly same. Good, okay. What about Mr. Farooq? What do you think? Do they have common
Yes.
interests?
Uh,
Yes. And Mr. Akhtar, what do you think?
she has
Do
common
they?
interest.
Okay, they have common interests. What about Mr. Akhtar? Mr. Akhtar, your mic is muted, sir.
They have common interest in marketing, or
Taking a walk,
sometimes they are walking just
going for
like
a walk.
friend, mom
Right.
and
Very good.
brother.
Yes, very good. So the mother and daughter, yes, they have common interests like going to the market shopping and they go for a walk. That is right. Very good, very good. Well done. Okay, next, does she get on well with people?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
they
Mr.
get
Akhtar
on.
said yes.
They get
They
on
get on
well with people.
well with people. Very
With
good.
people.
Mr. Shajidul, what do you think?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Very good. Last one. Is the relationship always good?
Yes.
Always good.
Always good.
Yes,
Okay. Mr.
yes.
Farooq? Yes.
Yes,
And
the relationship is always good.
always good. Okay. What about you, Mr. Shajidul?
Yes.
Yes. Are you sure, all of you?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes.
Yes,
But
Okay.
the relationship is not good for Nick and his brother.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's the same. It's also always not good for Ellie as well. You know
How?
why?
Oh.
Because Ellie once got a tattoo and her mother was very angry at her.
Okay.
And she
Okay.
still bugs her about that. So they
Okay.
don't always have a good relationship.
Okay.
So all of you were very confident because it's a mother and daughter duo. It's very uncommon to always not have a good relationship. But well tried, everyone.
Have one
Well
problem.
done. Yes,
We can
yes,
hear
yes,
the
sir.
we can hear the story for once time.
Yes, that's why.
So
But this is
so
also, yes,
it's
but
very
this
hard
is
to
also the way. I
it's
understand.
hard.
I completely understand. Yes, but that is why this is intermediate level, sir, because it is the level where it is a bit hard, and that is the challenge for all of you. Because all of you have a good basic, and our first condition of this level was that you have to have a good basic for which you could join this level, or else pre-intermediate level that you joined yesterday, that was a bit easier. There we sometimes, even here, it's not always that we play the audio once, but in some cases we do play it twice as well when it is a bit more tougher. Got it, sir? So see,
Okay.
but even if I played it once, you all are doing great. I see that very well. You are trying your best.
Actually,
Yes,
these things are not quite difficult. Actually,
exactly.
if we want to improve our listening skills and attention, then it can be much more easier. Just
Exactly.
need practice as well.
Exactly. And you have to pay full attention. That is
Yes.
actually whenever you're listening, even if you listen to an audio thrice or even four times, if you're not attentive, you will not be able to get it because this is first and foremost, this is not our native language. We have to pay attention to understand to what they're saying, even when we go abroad. Even if a person is speaking in English in front of us, we have to pay attention to what they're saying because or else if we're looking away and listening, sometimes we miss a lot of things that they're saying. And without even
And
there's
sometimes,
another, yes,
sometimes when I face some native speakers, actually I didn't give full attention of their all words and sentences. Sometimes, especially focused on the special some words, and
words.
based on yeah, based on their words, I had to give them
we
my
have we
deliveries.
we just understand, just listening to those words we get the idea of what they're trying to
Yeah,
say, right? Exactly. And also there's another very crucial part about listening is that if you don't improve your listening, your speaking won't improve as well. Because when we listen to something very attentively and we get it and our listening gets easier, we understand through listening, that time our speaking also gets fluent. That is a very big key to improve your speaking skills as well. Listening is one of the biggest keys because see, when a child starts talking, how does he start talking? He listens to his parents from after he's born, right? So he listens first and then he develops his listening skills. So that in that way, listening actually develops the speaking. We do not speak first and then listen. We listen first, and through that, we learn to speak. So that is the most crucial thing. That is why we always say that listening skills have to be developed first, and then speaking, then reading, then writing. Writing is the last one because once you improve your listening, your speaking will improve. Once you improve your speaking, you will be able to read very fluently. And when you're able to read fluently, you will be able to write properly. So everything is connected. All these four skills are connected. And whenever we don't hear another language that we're not used to, we won't be able to speak, write, or read that language. Writing and reading is later, even speaking. First, we have to listen. But you see, some people who live abroad, suppose who are illiterate, they're not literate enough. They go as laborers, they go as employees to, in the UAE countries, to Saudi Arabia, to the Emirate countries. There they listen to those people and they start talking in Arabic. How? They are not literate. They did not read and write, or they did not learn reading or writing that language from the very beginning, right? They just listen to the people there they listen to them talking and they start recognizing each word, and then they start to form the sentences, and that is how they start speaking that language as well. But if you give them a paper to read, if you give them something written in Arabic, you tell them read this for me, they won't be able to read or write, but they can understand everything and they can speak very fluently. That is actually how we learn to speak a new language, by listening first. Okay, so I spoke a lot just on listening. Now let's continue. That was a big lecture. Let's continue now. The last one is on Nick. So
How
who do
can
you
we
think?
practice listening?
Sir, I just said you have been given the audio files that we listen here with your book. It is given. Just look into the files that have been given to you. You will find it there. So you listen at home and then practice the same activities that we are doing. Even if you do that, that will also improve your listening skills, because we're providing you with the script here, right? But when you are listening, you won't be able to see the script at the same time, like we are providing you, because we are using the ebook, that is the online version and teacher's version. So that is why that will also, when you're practicing at home, that will that will improve you. And first and foremost, you follow the course. That is the main thing that will improve your listening.
Yes,
Understood?
I understood.
Okay. Okay, so last one is on Nick. So who do you think is Nick closest to? Mr. Akhtar, if
His
you're
twin.
saying we cannot hear you, your mic is muted. Yes, his twin. Okay. Mr. Farooq and
I
Mr.
think
Akhtar, his twin. What about you, Mr. Farooq? Who is Nick closest to? Don't remember? Okay. His twin brother. That brother's name is Chris. He is closest to Chris. Okay, so does Chris like Nick?
No.
yes.
No? Yes? What about
I
Mr.
Yes,
think
Farooq?
yes.
Yes?
I think yes.
Okay, Mr. Akhtar also thinks yes. Yes. His twin does like Nick. Chris does like Nick. And do you think the twin is different from Nick?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes? Yes,
yes,
Mr. Farooq said
Yes.
yes. Mr.
yes.
Shajidul, what do you think?
Yes.
See, they're trying to influence you into saying yes as well, but what do you think?
They are absolutely different from
They're
each other.
absolutely different? Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think so, Mr. Akhtar?
I can't remember now, but
But you
I
remember that
only
they're different. Okay. Yes,
I
Mr.
see only one
Shajidul.
guy.
Nick is very
Yeah.
introvert, but his
I
brother very extrovert and social with others. So sometimes Nick's brothers want to be like Nick. So in that case, they are totally different.
Good.
generally generally
Yes.
twins are generally twins are same, like same opinion. They are doing same job, but
Right.
here Nick and Chris are different from each other.
Very good. Yes, they are different. Right. See, even after hearing for once, Mr. Akhtar, you do remember the fact that actually needs to be used here. So, see, you did pay attention. It doesn't matter whether we played it once or twice.
Now,
Very good.
now we are 15 years old, so it's hard to us to pay uh, concept to pay
Consecutively two times.
right concentration. It's tough, but
I get it. But
um,
everything is possible if you have
then-
the will to do it,
yes,
right?
It's
yes,
possible.
See, even at this age, you're motivated to improve your English. That is a very big thing that should be appreciated. Not everyone is consistent in these as well, especially at your age, as you mentioned. Very good. That is very good. We highly appreciate that. Okay, next one. We have common interests. So, do you think they have common interests?
no,
No?
yes,
Mr. Farooq?
Yes,
They have common interest. Mr. Shajidul?
No.
No. They do have some things that are not common, but there are some things that are common as well. So it will be a yes.
Oh,
Understood? How? Okay, I'll have to play the audio to be more specific, but I'll say that I cannot specify because I forgot that point. I'm very sorry. But
okay.
there are some things that they do like about each other. Like I think they like the same thing in their menu or something he mentioned, but there are some things that they do not like in that is not common in them. But because we are asking about if they have anything in common or not, so
Yes,
yes, they do
yes,
have some common interests. Not
understood.
everything, but some things. Okay,
Something.
yes. Okay, next one. He gets on well with people. Does he?
No.
No. And Mr. Farooq, does he?
Yes,
Yes, he
yes,
gets on
yes,
well with people.
yes,
He does.
she gets on well with people.
Okay, and what about Mr. Akhtaruzzman?
I'm puzzled.
Sorry?
Puzzled.
Puzzled.
Confused.
Oh, you're
Puzzled,
puzzled. Okay, you're puzzled. Okay,
not
okay.
sure.
Okay. So Mr. Shajidul said no.
Yes. No.
Yes, you are correct. He doesn't get on well with people because he's a bit introverted, right? Next, the last one. Is the relationship always good?
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Farooq said yes. And Mr.
Yes,
Akhtar?
yes.
yes.
Yes. And Mr. Shajidul?
Uh,
Yes.
Again, they're trying to
their
influence you.
their characteristics is not same, but they don't have any bad relationship with each other. So in that case, it should be their good relationship.
Right. So you all are correct. Yes, they always have a good relationship. Excellent work, all of you. That was great. Okay, so I think that was enjoyable because it was something different, right? Other than the
Yeah.
activities that we have done before. Okay, so now that we know who is closest to whom, okay, so now that we know who is closest to whom, we will now move on to our next activity where we have, that is activity 4, we have some phrases given, that is some dialogues given that have been said in the um, audio specifically. So we have to find out who said this, who said these phrases, about who, and what do they actually mean by saying this. So I'll make it easier for you. I will play it one more time so that it's better for you because these are the sentences that you have to figure out who said it out of four of them. So you need another time for to listen to the audio. So I'll play it again for you, but this time I will not be showing the script. You listen to it very carefully. If necessary, close your eyes, imagine someone talking, and then listen to it very carefully. Okay? Before that, let's see what the sentences or the dialogues or the phrases have been given so that it's easier for you to catch the phrase or the dialogue when that person is saying those. Okay? So, number one, we don't really see eye to eye about anything. Number two, she drives me crazy sometimes. Number three, we have our ups and downs. Number four, those two often fight like cat and dog. So these are the four dialogues, phrases, or sentences that the four of them have spoken in the audio. Now you just have to find who said which sentence or phrase and about whom were they talking, as well as what do they actually mean by these sentences, because these sentences see they don't really see eye to eye. So these all consist some phrases that are hypothetically speaking, right? Then we have drives me crazy. And then we have our ups and downs. And then we have fight like cat and dog. So these are all proverbs, we say. So these are used in these sentences and are being spoken about someone specifically. So we have to also understand what they mean. So let's listen at first. Let's listen to the audio at first. Listen carefully because there will be no script now. Okay? Okay. Ready? Listen very carefully. Okay? I'll play it now.
1.9. My closest relative. Tess.
I think the person that I'm probably closest to is my sister, Charlotte, or Charlie, as everyone calls her. We're very different. She drives me crazy sometimes, and we have terrible rows, but I know we'll always be there for each other in the end. One thing I love about her is her sunny personality. She's so sociable, not shy like me. She's always cheerful and full of fun. Oh, people love her. They always want to be her friend. Me, I'm just her boring baby sister. But perhaps what I like best about her is the way she's so honest about herself. She says her big problem is that she can't sit still. She says she'd like to be like me and be happy just sitting reading or watching a film, just relaxing, really. I'm good at that.
Simon.
In my family, I think I'm closest to my granddad. My dad, I don't really get on with. We don't really see eye to eye about anything, but fortunately he's away on business most of the time. I think he'd like me better if I was good at sports, football or rugby or something. Any sport, but I'm not. What I like about Grandad is that we have the same interests. We both love wildlife, nature, plants and animals and things. We often go walking together in the countryside, and sometimes, in my school holidays, we go camping. I love that, even in the rain. I think emotionally I'm closer to him than I am to both my parents. You see, my mum also has a high-powered job, and she travels a lot. I'm an only child, so I think I'd be lonely without my granddad. I love him. My friends love him too. He's always so interested in what they're doing. He's young at heart, my granddad.
Ellie.
The person I'm closest to in my family is definitely my mum. Everyone loves my mum. She's the kind of person you can talk to about anything. She's very understanding, especially now I have a baby of my own. She's a great help with the baby, George, but doesn't throw too much advice at me, if you know what I mean. At the moment, we spend a lot of time together because I'm not back at work. We go for walks with the baby. We go shopping together. We like the same kind of clothes. She's pretty cool, my mum. Not old-fashioned at all. We have our ups and downs, of course. A few years ago, I had a tattoo, a butterfly, done on my shoulder, and she didn't like that at all. She still goes on about it, but most of the time, we get on very well indeed.
Nick.
I'm closest to my twin brother, Chris. We're not identical twins, but we have a lot of things in common. We follow the same football team, Arsenal. We like the same sort of music, especially house music, and we mainly have the same friends. But I suppose there are more differences than similarities. Well, I'm into all things history and politics, and Chris loves adventure and travel. Also, our personalities are very different. Well, I'm like my mum, calm and easygoing. Chris, he's like my dad. He can be moody and bad-tempered. With those two, Dad and Chris, often fight like cat and dog. I'm the referee. It's not a role I like. Chris has just gone travelling in Southeast Asia. He's in South Korea at the moment, in Seoul. I miss him a lot. I think as twins, we're closer than most brothers and sisters. We're different. But I trust him like I trust no one else, even my mum.
So that was about Tess, Simon, Ellie, and Nick again. So I hope you all got who said which sentence now that you heard it. No, Mr. Farooq is shaking his head as no. What about Mr. Akhtar Zaman?
Please,
You got
number
it?
one. Number
Okay.
one.
What about Mr. Shazidul? You got it?
Yeah.
I hope you did. Okay, great. So no problem, Mr. Farooq. You'll get used to it slowly, slowly. It takes time for some people. No problem. Okay, so number one, we don't really see eye to eye about anything. Mr. Shajidul, give me the answer to this.
Simon.
Simon, okay, good. Yes, Simon was saying this about who?
Simon said about his granddad.
About his granddad?
No.
Acha, okay, Mr. Akhtar Zaman said no. So
We do
then
not
who?
really, we do not really see eye to eye about anything.
About anything,
I
yes.
think it's talk. Simon is talking about her mother.
Okay, about his mother. And Mr. Farooq, do you have any opinion in this? No, okay, no problem. Okay, I'll clear it up. Yes, Simon did say this that we don't see eye to eye about anything, but it is not about his mother nor about his granddad. It was about his father, about his dad. Okay, so Simon was saying that they don't really see eye to eye about anything, and that was about his dad. And what do you think it means, Mr. Shajidul?
I too.
It means actually Simon has close connection with his granddad because his father looked like a tough guy. So actually, they doesn't have any good relationship between them. So he is not connected with his fathers as well.
Okay, so that is what he means by saying this sentence, that we don't really see eye to eye about anything. Okay, and Mr. Akhtar Zaman, do you have an opinion about this? Do you think that you have a better
I think
answer?
Simon. I think Simon, Simon did not get any close contact with his from his fathers.
Okay, so just tell me the meaning of this sentence. What does he mean by saying this sentence about his father? That we don't really see eye to eye about anything. What is he meaning by this sentence specifically?
Simon want to tell that he has not any close contact with his father and did not enjoy or get anything.
Okay, from him. Okay, okay. Mr. Farooq, can you explain this sentence? What does Simon mean by this sentence? What does he specifically mean by the phrase
Eye
see
to eye.
eye to eye? Yes, to see eye to eye.
একে অপরকে দেখে নাই মানে চোখে চোখ হয় নাই আর কি
No. So this is actually a proverb which means to not agree on something. That by saying this, Simon is meaning that he and his father don't agree about anything. They do not agree about any specific thing together. They always have different opinions about different things, but it is not
so
the same. Yes, Mr. Akhtar?
we can use this phrase to
Mean?
describe disagreement with others.
Yes, exactly. We use this proverb or this phrase. Yes.
Eye to eye means disagreement, uh,
Between people.
others' opinions or others'
Yes.
liking, others
Yes.
everything.
Exactly. Exactly. So me seeing eye to eye or not seeing eye to eye, actually not seeing eye to eye, we don't really see eye to eye means to disagree with the other person. And seeing eye to eye means to agree. So
Or see,
don't really see eye to eye. Yes. That
yeah,
means to
if
not
I
agree on, yes.
if I agree is someone's opinions or likings, I can use see eye to eye.
Yes.
If we
Yes.
disagree, someone likes or disagree, someone
Yes.
like or opinions, we can see not see eye to eye.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Right. Very good. Next one is number two. Mr. Akhtaruzaman, can you please tell me who said this? Number two, she
She
drives
drives
me
me.
crazy sometimes.
It's said is
Tess, right. Tess said this about who,
test.
Mr. Shajidul?
About his sisters.
About her sister. Very good. And what does it mean, Mr. Farooq? She drives me crazy sometimes.
In drives means crazy means influence.
Not influence, but to some extent influence, yes, but in a
Negative
uh,
influence.
We
not negative
can
influence,
Sorry.
but
we
quite
can say
you're quite close. Yes, you're
we,
quite close. Yes, Mr.
she
Akhtar, go on.
drives me crazy sometimes. We can say it. She makes me crazy sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that can also be said, yes, but what does it actually mean? Mr. Shajidul, can you tell? What does this actually mean?
Drives me crazy.
Actually, it means she actually describes her sisters different types of characteristics, especially he's very sociable, she's extrovert and easily connected with other people. So these types of things actually crazy makes crazy
That
to
drive
the
her
test.
crazy. Okay.
We can
Okay.
also say
Uh,
we can
to
also
some
say
extent, yes.
the
Yes,
taste
Mr. Akhtar.
sometimes same the taste sometimes uh, sometimes case are some taste is sometimes crazy by his sister.
Yes, but what does this phrase or proverb actually means that drives me crazy? No one can drive you crazy, right?
না
Okay, I'll give you
ইয়ার
an example.
তাকে
Let me
পাগল
give you
করে
an
দেয়
example.
মানে
Yes, let me give you an example. So most of the time, suppose you're in a room full of kids and they're shouting around and jumping around, and you will say, these kids are driving me crazy. So what are you feeling then? You're feeling irritated, you're feeling annoyed. That is when we say that she drives me crazy sometimes. So
we can say it.
Irritated.
here,
If
yes,
I if I
yes,
if I am irritating someone or
yes,
someone irritates me, I
yes.
can say
Yes,
I am driving
him
crazy
crazy.
by I am
I am
driving
driving
crazy by
him
him.
crazy. I am
I am
being
driving
driven crazy by him, or he is driving
I
me
am
crazy,
driving.
or I am driving him crazy. We can say that, okay?
Okay.
When I am annoyed or irritated, I say, I am going crazy, or she is driving me crazy. Understood, everyone? So, this is the
Okay.
proverb. When,
When noise is unbearable or
yes, that
sound
is, yes, yes, good, yes. So
uh,
sometimes in many
noise
weddings, there
unbearable.
are very loud musics, right? That time we can
Uh,
say, this music is driving me crazy. Got it?
it also is in our office. Our
Yes,
colleagues are our
yes,
colleagues are
of course.
disturbing or
Yes.
uh, our
Even
colleagues
when
are
we have a lot of work pressure in our office, that time we can also say, this work, I have so much work, it's driving me crazy. We can also say that. Okay? Okay, next one is number three. We have our ups and downs. Mr. Shajidul, tell me who said this.
Not stable. Fluctuated. Not
Okay.
stable.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll come to the
Fluctuated.
meaning. We'll come to the meaning after some time. Who said this? First, tell me.
Ellie said this.
Ellie said this. Very good. About whom?
About their
রাফসান আছে যে
about their family conditions so far.
শাহরিয়ার ভাই
About her family
তাইলে
conditions or
কালকে
about a
আমি তাহলে
specific person? He
Specific
said this
person
about.
means
অন্যদিকে
her
থাকা লাগবে
mother.
না ঠিক না
Yes, right.
আচ্ছা
Ellie said this about her mother. Very good.
ইনশাআল্লাহ কথা
And
হবে শনিবার
Mr.
দিন
Farooq, what do you
আসসালামু আলাইকুম
think this means? We have our ups and
Ups and
downs.
downs means not stable.
Right, very good. To not be stable. That means here, what is Tess trying to say about her mother when she's saying we have our ups and downs? Can anyone tell me?
No,
They
no.
don't have good relationship as always.
No.
Sometimes
Right,
good, sometimes bad.
exactly. Very good. Excellent, Mr. Shajidul. Exactly what you said, that Ellie is talking about the relationship with her mother, that she has or they have ups and downs, that their relationship is not always stable. It has some good times, that are the ups, and they have some bad times, that is the downs. So that is why, very good, Mr. Farooq. Ups and downs is usually used when we are describing or when we are talking about something unstable, usually situation, unstable situation, that can be
Unstable
financial,
situation.
that can be emotional. So these are the situations when we can use ups and downs. Last one. Those two often fight like cat and dog. Who said this?
Father and
Nick said about his
it's
father.
Father and?
it said Chris.
Yes. Nick said
Twin
this
brother.
about, right, about his twin brother and his father.
Father.
Very good. And what does this mean? Very easy. What does this sentence
Cats and
mean?
dogs.
Yes, fighting like cats and dogs means? Yes, Mr. Shaju. Okay.
Cats and dog
Yes.
means not good relationship at always.
Right.
They have sometimes good relationships, sometimes they have bad relationships. Actually, Nick brothers is look like his father's, like introvert, sometimes
Same characteristics.
short-tempered, like that. So
Right.
that's why they don't have actually a good relationship
Good, really.
at always.
Right. Exactly. So, fighting like cats and dogs means to fight very badly, like having arguments that are very loud and aggressive. That is fighting like cats and dogs. Just normal example, just literal example. That is, you often see dogs running behind cats, right? And they fighting without any reason, just randomly. That is exactly what fighting like cats and dogs means. So when we are seeing people fighting among each other without any specific reason, without any, without any days, that is when we say you're fighting like cats and dogs. Useless fights. Right? Okay. So very good. That was great. Now we've almost come to the end of our class. We will be ending it here. But before that, I'd like you to see this part on your own. Both of you, Mr. Shajidul and Mr. Farooq, those who have the books. Um, we have small parts in our books where we can see some things in depth that it's not necessary to be done in class. You can see it for your betterment on your own. For example, the first one, that is spoken English adding emphasis. So we often have to emphasize on certain words in our sentences to show the importance of those words that we're saying, right? So, for example, we can change the order of words in a sentence to add emphasis. So, to emphasize on those words, oftentimes we can change the position or the order of the words in the sentence so that it expresses the importance of that certain person or thing or whatever we're talking about. So for example, these sentences were said in the audio in this way. That is, number one, my dad, I don't really get on with. So here, my dad is the emphasized word. So this person is being is the main topic here. We're emphasizing on my dad, and then we're saying what we have to say about him. I don't really get on with. So in normal way, when we had to say it in a normal sentence, we what would we have said? We would have said that I don't really get on with my dad. So that is the regular way how we usually say, right? But to add emphasis, to emphasize on that person, we're saying, my dad, I don't really get on with. So that is how we use or add emphasis on a sentence. For that, we move the word that we're emphasizing on in the beginning or in the end. How do we use it in the end? See number 2. He's young at heart, my granddad. So I could have said, my granddad is young at heart, but I'm not saying that. I'm not adding it in, adding that word in the sentence. I am keeping it a bit separate with a comma in the end. He's young at heart, comma, my granddad. That is how I am adding emphasis in this sentence as well. Same for number 3. She's pretty cool, my mom. Or I could say, my mom, she's pretty cool. I could also have said it like that, okay? So that is how we add emphasis on a sentence. So here they are saying what is the normal word order for these sentences. Means how would we normally say it if we did not add emphasis to this sentence, okay? You can see this at home on your own. Notice how these sentences add emphasis. See in these, here are certain examples given as well. Me, I'm just her boring baby sister. Tess said that, right? Chris, he's like my dad. That is what Nick said. So see, they're emphasizing on these people. That is why they're using their names at first rather than using their names after or within the sentence. Got it? So these are very easy. You can just see it, just have a glance from your book so that it clarifies and gives you some idea about it as well. So for today, that was it. We're wrapping up here, but for in our next classes, inshallah, we have a lot more interesting works coming. Just like today, we did some great activities that were a bit different from the others that we did before. So inshallah, we will be doing more like these. And thank you all for participating actively throughout the class, and all tried very hard whenever you couldn't even answer, but still you tried. That was great. That's the spirit. And I would like all of you to keep your spirits up like that for the next classes as well, as we have more exciting and interesting lessons coming up as well. Okay. So thank you for today. Thank you all. And inshallah, our next class will be in our next week. Our classes will be on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. Just for our
Tuesday
next,
and Thursday.
yes, just for next week.